Stop for a moment, my child. Whatever your hands are holding, let it rest. Because what I am about to tell you will change the way you see everything you have walked through. While I was preparing this word for you, I paused over your life. Something I saw in you made all of heaven grow quiet. Not something you planned, not something you did to be admired. Something that rose out of you so naturally that you never guessed the weight it carried in the unseen world. I want you to hear this in stillness, because it will not settle into a hurried heart. This is not a word for a crowd. It is for you alone. The person whose heart is beating a little faster now, but they don't know why. Even though your mind isn't sure if it believes me yet, your spirit knows my voice. That quiet stirring you feel isn't, because these words are making you feel something new. It's my spirit, letting you know what you've been feeling for days. I want to tell you about something I saw not long ago. You made it through one of the worst parts of your road. Something seemed like it was meant to break you when it hit you. You were really hurt by what happened. It wasn't made up, and it wasn't small. You had every right to hurt back at the person who did it. If you had become cold or mean or just walked away, everyone who knew the whole story would have understood. At that moment, your nature was yelling at you. It told you to pay back what you got. You were told to protect yourself, show them who you were, and let the fire in your chest take over. You could have easily found a good reason to be angry, and that anger would have been easy to understand. But something deeper in you chose a different path. You didn't say anything when one word could have hurt them. You shielded them when you could have told everyone about their mistake. No one would have thought less of you if you had left after trying again. You responded to a real hurt with a real kindness, and heaven doesn't skip over something like that. Pay close attention, because I want you to know why this is so important. Hearts move in patterns that haven't changed much over time. When you hurt someone, they get tough. If you betray them, they will get even. If you treat them unfairly, anger will fill the empty seat at their table. This is just how flesh works, so it doesn't surprise me. Everyone has it, I've seen it. But once in a while, a soul does something that doesn't follow the norm. A soul brings light to the dark. While many people watch, they do it because of what's inside them. I think that's a big deal when that happens. It makes me feel something. Everything I have covered across this channel is now in one place. The prayers, the teachings, the daily blessings, it is all inside the Daily Miracle Manual. Link in the description. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, you aren't just visiting a site, you are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. It was one of those times because of you, my child. Keep in mind that this is not about staying alive. A lot of people go through hard times because they are stubborn or because they have no other choice. I'm also gentle with them. But what you did was different. You were hit and blessed. You were harmed, and you don't want to hurt others again. You show that what's around you doesn't control what you say. That doesn't happen often. You can read most souls like the weather. If you treat them well, they will warm up. If you are mean to them, they will turn into frost. No matter what the day brings, they feel up and down inside. But you prove that what other people do can't change you into someone you were never meant to be. It's okay to like this message if you know that your character stood strong even when no one was looking. Sign up for this channel so that this voice can keep finding you when no one else is around, and type Amen in the comments to make what you did in secret public. Your character was held from the inside, in the dark, under a lot of stress, and there was no reward in sight. And now for the thing you couldn't have known. At that time, there were no people around you. You weren't performing for anyone on earth or in heaven. When no one is looking, you were just being yourself. That's exactly why it was so important. A kind act practiced for others to see is like a shallow stream. Kindness that comes from the heart, when it thinks it is not seen, comes from deep down. I start my search in the deep places. I look through your last few days. How a dad reads a letter from his kid he loves. Not missing anything slowly. I saw the fights going on inside you that no one else alive knows about. I saw the words you choked on. I saw you talk yourself out of being angry those nights. One more time. I saw the mornings when you got up and chose to be gentle again, even though there was no sign that it was working. All of those choices were written down. They didn't fall to the ground at all. I will tell you what I said to you that hour, so that you can remember it forever. I said that this one makes me remember why I made the heart. Take your time with that. It moved the one who spoke light into being, set the paths of the stars, and measured the depths of the oceans in the palm of his hand to see your hidden choices. My messengers, the powerful ones who stand in front of me and do what I say, can't do what you did. They work for me while seeing how great I am. They don't have to pay much to obey because they live in the truth. But you serve me while wearing a veil. You can't see my face. You picked mercy even though there was no proof that it would win. You had faith in the dark, which is when faith costs something great. Even the angels took a moment to think. Before I say anything else, I want you to accept this one truth. This word wasn't found by accident. I chose this time. Nothing should be able to pull you away from what I still have to say to you, because it has both a promise and a hard word that you need to hear together. Do not be too loud when you say Amen. If you are sure that this word has reached the right heart, then say it now, as a kid talks to his dad in the dark. Let me show you something you've never seen before. What happened in your story that you couldn't see? That's because you didn't just do a good thing when you chose kindness over getting angry. There was a battle going on that you didn't even know about. There's a reason why darkness pushes so hard against your soul. Its only goal has never been to hurt you. It wants to change you. It was the hidden goal of every attack you've been through to make you angry, to teach your heart to hate, and to make you respond to poison with poison. Because when a soul repays evil with evil, it comes out from under my covering and starts to move by the power that wants to destroy it. That has been their plan against you since the beginning. You turned the whole plan on its head when you blessed those who attacked. You were sent evil, but it couldn't find anything in you to hold on to. Hatred can't grow where love is strong. It goes back to the person who sent it. What was meant to hurt you came back to hurt you, and you didn't do anything. With the one weapon your enemies can't defend against, you took it away from them. What moved me even more was this. You didn't learn this trick or practice it over and over again. It came from who you are. You're kind even when things are hard, which would have made most people angry. By yourself with almost no one else around. Mercy is just what came out. What came out of you when you were crushed wasn't poison. That told me everything I needed to know about how you've been growing these past few years. Then I looked back across your road and saw something that made me happier than any action could. In that hard time, your kindness wasn't an island by itself. No one celebrated over and over again, no matter the season. It was harder for you to choose the right than the wrong. When it would have been safer to lie, you told the truth. The complete guide, every daily prayer, every spiritual tool, everything I've put together to help you grow your faith is down in the description. It's called the Daily Miracle Manual. Now, stay right here with me because, as this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description or the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. You kept your promise even though it cost you. For people who never knew what it cost you, you were patient. They may never thank you. You didn't even know it, but you've been living like one of my chosen ones. There was no applause, no assurance that any of it mattered, and no high sign telling you to keep going. You did the right thing just because it was the right thing to do, even when it cost a lot and other people would have let you off the hook for less. I looked all over the world for a mark that would stay the same over years and be kept secret. It tells me the difference between a soul I can bless and one I can trust. Now let me show you what has already started to change around you. Because heaven's love is never empty. My favor moves. It leaves traces. You will stop calling it a coincidence once you learn to see the evidence. First, think about what has been going on with the plans to hurt you. Think about the last few weeks. Some people spoke badly about you, worked behind the scenes to see you fail, and sent bad vibes your way like arrows shot out at night. Now think about what happened to their plans. There is no clear reason why efforts that should have worked failed. Things they thought they had firmly in hand got away from them. They tried to shut doors against you, but they wouldn't stay shut. That's not chance or luck. When I feel moved by a soul, I keep that soul safe by building a wall around it. Arrows do not just miss the mark. They turn. The trouble your enemies meant for you has been coming to their own gates, and they don't know why. You may have seen it before and thought about it in a quiet way. You now understand what you saw. Also think about the peace you've been feeling in the middle of the storm. From every angle. The weight you've been carrying lately should have made you flat. There were days when everything you had built felt like it was shaking, and anyone else would have been scared to death. But you kept feeling a strange calm in the middle of it all. It's not that your problems went away, they didn't. The calm came anyway, which had nothing to do with what was going on. That peace makes no sense in this world, and you know that. You felt it and thought about where it might be coming from. It's from me. The peace that comes from knowing that heaven is close is the quiet. To let you know before any other proof came, I put it on you like a soldier's hand on the shoulder. You are not going through this season alone. And there is still more proof, which I will show you soon. Today there are signs all around you that you haven't read yet. Right now, your eyes are being opened. But before I go on, I'd like to clear up something between us in a clear and quick way. Everything I say needs one answer from you. There should be trust, not excitement or curiosity. That kind of trust that stays with you even when the words get tough and the promise moves slowly. It's not like I want you to feel something. Feelings change like the tides. Just like a builder sets a stone in place, I want you to leave your heart where it is. I'm not just here to comfort you today. You would stay where you are if you only looked for comfort. I love you too much to do that. Please know that I'm here to help you, correct you, get you ready, and give you something you didn't expect. Everything you see is real and closer than you think. If your heart is open, and you are willing to hear every word I have for you today, the gentle and the firm alike, then answer me now and say, I am listening. Father, then hear the rest of the evidence, because your life is already speaking, and I want you to understand its language. Notice how your seeing has sharpened. Decisions that once left you tangled for days have begun to resolve themselves quickly. Questions that sat in fog are standing now in morning light. You have found yourself simply knowing things not through any voice from the clouds, but through quiet impressions, sudden understanding, a sureness in your chest that keeps proving right. That is not your imagination improving. That is my counsel reaching you along a channel that has been swept clear. I am guiding you more closely than before, and this is only the beginning of it. Notice, too, who has been leaving. Certain people have drifted out of your days, and certain doors have closed with a finality that startled you. Companions who drained you are gone. Arrangements that quietly held you back have dissolved. At the time, some of those departures stung like loss. But look again with the eyes I am giving you. I have been clearing the ground. A new season requires a cleared field, and I have been removing one by one whatever could not travel where you are going. Do not chase what I am carrying away from you. My hand is in the removal as surely as it will be in the arrival, and notice the sense that has been growing in you that something is near. You have felt an expectancy you cannot name, a leaning forward in your spirit, the way the air changes before rain. You have tried to dismiss it as wishful thinking, but it will not be dismissed. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission will grow into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Giving to this work through the link in the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not just go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through hearts that are kind. It returns at quiet moments and stands beside you. Trust it. Your spirit is sensing what your mind has not yet been told. Something is indeed approaching your life, and it is connected to everything I have been telling you in this hour. Now, before I open the next door of this word, I must speak to you about trust, because trust is the hinge on which everything ahead will turn. And trust, my child, is not proven by feelings. It is proven by the open hand. Long ago, I sat across from the treasury of my house and observed the people bringing their offerings. The wealthy came in their fine robes and gave from their overflow, and it cost them nothing, and it moved me not at all. Then came a widow with 2 small coins, all she had in the world, and she laid them down and walked away without ceremony. Heaven still tells her story. It was never the amount that stirred me. It was the open hand. An open hand is the sign of a heart that has stopped guarding itself against its own father. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. Let it be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. Understand what is really happening when a hand opens. It is not a transaction, and I am no merchant. It is a posture of the soul. The clenched hand says, my security lies in what I can hold. The open hand says, my security lies in the one who holds me. Between those two postures runs the whole difference between a life of quiet fear and a life of quiet power. I am forming the open hand in you, not only toward provision, but in every room of your life. Because a hand that has learned to release is the only kind of hand that can fully receive. Abraham stood on a mountain with everything he loved bound upon the stones, and he did not withhold. And when I saw that his heart kept nothing back from me, I swore to him a blessing that is still unfolding upon the earth to this day. The measure of his trust became the measure of his inheritance. It has always worked this way in my kingdom. Not because I need anything from your hand, for the cattle on 1,000 hills are mine, but because your release makes room. What you cling to stays the size of your grip. What you entrust to me enters my economy, where seed becomes harvest, and 2 coins outweigh a treasury. So let this settle in you gently. I am not asking you for proof of your love. Your love is already known to me. I am inviting you into freedom. The freedom of a soul that has stopped negotiating with fear. Fear whispers that there will not be enough, that tomorrow must be hoarded against. That safety lives in the storehouse. But you have seen by now where fear leads. It leads to shrinking, and you were not made to shrink. Now, having spoken of trust, I must go further in because this hour holds more than affirmation. I told you at the beginning that I carry 2 words for you today. The first you have been hearing. Heaven has been moved by you. Favor is gathering around you, and evidence of it already marks your days. That word is true, and nothing I say next will take 1 grain of it away. But there is a second word, and it is a firm one. I will not soften it because you need it whole. A father who stays pleasant while his child drifts toward a cliff does not love that child. My firmness is my love wearing its working clothes. Something has happened in your life that must be set right, and I intend to set it right today in this hour before the blessing I have described comes into full view. Do not be afraid of what comes next. Correction from me never arrives to crush, it arrives to rescue. Stay with me now exactly as you have stayed this far, and let me say the hard thing and the beautiful thing in the same breath. For they belong together, and both of them carry your name. Hear now the hard word. There was a moment not long past when you made a choice your own heart warned you against. You knew the line was there. You felt my hand pressing gently against your will in that moment, a resistance you could not explain, and you moved forward anyway. I was not absent when it happened, and I was not silent. Heaven saw it, and heaven does not pretend. Do not rush to defend yourself. Do not reach for the explanations you have been quietly rehearsing. I have heard every one of them already, and I know the truth that lies beneath them. This hour is not for argument. It is for honesty, and honesty is the only thing I require of you right now. Understand how it truly happened, because it did not begin where you think it began. It did not begin with your hands. It began with a thought. A thought arrived at the door of your mind, and it did not carry my peace, and you knew it did not. But instead of turning it away, you gave it a room to live in. You returned to it. You let it stay past the hour when you knew it should go. And the thought became a leaning, and the leaning became a decision, and the decision became an act. By small degrees, the way it always happens, no one falls all at once. They drift one quiet warning at a time, each one a little easier to ignore than the last. And when it was done, you felt the change at once, though you told no one. The peace inside you turned unsettled. Your prayers grew heavier in your mouth. A low restlessness followed you from morning into night, and you called it stress, and you called it weariness, but your spirit knew its true name. That churning was your own heart telling the truth, while your lips stayed silent. Now hear what my firmness is aimed at, and hear it clearly. It is not aimed at you. It is aimed at the road you had stepped onto, and at the slow ruin I could see waiting further along it. A shepherd who sees a wolf circling his flock does not whisper. He shouts. If you can hear that this firmness is protection and not rejection, like this message is your way of receiving it well. If you subscribe, this voice will keep calling you back from the edge whenever you get off track. And write. I receive your correction in the comments, so the warning does not go unanswered. The sharpness in my voice today is a shepherd's shout, and every edge of it is protection. Also mark this. I don't fix things that don't bother me. A farmer leaves a field alone when he has given up on it. He walks through and prunes the one he hopes to get a harvest from. You are being told what to do because you are important. This strong word shows that I have never let you go. Also, let me tell you what your fall did not do. It didn't stop you from calling. It didn't make you less valuable in any way. I still love you after what happened. I didn't turn my face away from it either. It changed the way you were going. And that's what I'm here to fix. A person who is lost is not worthless. He's just going somewhere he shouldn't, and I won't let you go there. The biggest danger right now is not the fall itself. Self-pride. Pride will tell you that this word doesn't belong to you. Pride will tell you that it's not that important, that everyone does it, and that you can handle it by yourself. Pride has led people with stronger souls than you to places they'll never go back from. If you want the full guide with every prayer and lesson I've compiled for this community, check the description for the Daily Miracle Manual. You are about to enter your divine future, but remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary where we discuss the word daily and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit Out Community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Today, don't let it speak for you. It feels like a weight is on you as you hear this. I know you feel it. In no way does it condemn. When someone is condemned, their soul is smashed into the ground and left there. You feel conviction, and conviction is a gift. For years, confusion goes around in circles, but conviction points to one thing and says, "Here, this is the matter. Deal with this." I have made it that clear because I refuse to let you miss it. Remember the shepherd king. He fell far harder than you have. He took what was not his and he covered it. And for a season he called the covering peace. But when my word finally cornered him, he did not argue. He spoke 4 plain words. I have sinned against you. And that broken honesty opened a door to mercy that his crown could never have purchased. I am listening for those 4 words from you. Not a performance of sorrow, not endless self-punishment. Just the plain truth from a plain heart with nothing hidden behind your back. So here is the way home, and I ask you to walk it without skipping a single step, for the road back is shorter than you fear. But it must be walked honestly, or it is not walked at all. The first step is honesty with yourself. Name what happened fully with no excuse stitched to it. Do not dress it up and do not shrink it down. What is brought into the light loses its power to hide, and what stays hidden keeps its grip. Bring it out into the open before me. All of it, and you will feel its hold begin to loosen the very moment you do. As long as you defend the thing, you remain tied to the thing. You do not need to win an argument with me. You need only tell me the truth. And the truth is something I have already made a way through. The second step is to turn back to me deliberately, not casually. Do not think of me in passing the way you think of the weather. Come to me on purpose. Speak to me plainly in your own words as a child speaks to a father he trusts. Then be still and let the stillness do its slow, deep work. In that stillness something will shift. The cold draft from that open door will fade. The churning will grow quiet. That is the sound of a door closing. My hand on the latch and your heart in agreement. What was opened in a careless moment is shut in a deliberate one. And there is a third step, the one most souls refuse. And I will not let you refuse it. You must forgive yourself, not excuse yourself. Forgive yourself. There is a difference, and your freedom depends on knowing it. Guilt that lingers after true repentance is not devotion. It is a weight I never asked you to carry. And it chains you to a moment I have already dealt with. If I have released you, who are you to keep yourself imprisoned? Lift your head, the account is settled. Not by your suffering, but by my mercy. Your sorrow had its hour and did its honest work. And now its hour is over, from this day forward. Dragging that failure behind you is not humility, it is unbelief. And I am asking you to lay it down. Understand also the difference between a mistake and a pattern, because everything ahead depends on it. A mistake is a single stumble on the road. A pattern is a road of its own, walked so many times that the feet no longer ask where they are going. What happened to you was a stumble, but underneath it, I saw a pattern beginning to form, and that is the deeper thing I am healing today. This was not the first time you felt that inner hesitation and stepped past it. You remember the other moments. Even now, each seems small, but small compromises are seeds, and they grow in the dark as faithfully as good seed grows in a field. I am pulling this one up while the root is still shallow. That is not harshness. That is a gardener who knows what the full-grown plant becomes. Now the correction has done its work, and my voice changes its labor. I begin to rebuild, and I will start with the one skill that would have spared you all of this. Knowing my voice among all the others. Listen carefully, for what I teach you now will guard you for the rest of your days. My voice is not hard to find. It is only easy to drown. I speak in the quiet nudge before a decision. I speak in the sudden caution that has no visible reason. I speak in the thought that arrives carrying calm instead of pressure. You have heard me far more often than you realize. The work now is to know that voice so well that no counterfeit can imitate it the way a shepherd's own flock will not follow a stranger. Here is the first mark of my voice, and I want you to hold it for the rest of your life. My guidance carries peace. not always comfort and not always ease. For I sometimes ask hard things, but even my hard words arrive on steady ground. When peace is present, you may move. When peace lifts, stop where you stand. Peace is not merely a feeling I give you. It is a signal I speak through. You felt that signal leave you in the very moment we have been speaking of. One breath there was stillness, and then there was churning, and you moved anyway. Never again treat that churning as a mood to push through. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a small thing. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the pinned comment, whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. By doing so, you become part of a plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself. It is a sentry on your wall, and when the sentry calls out, the gates are to be shut, not argued with. Here is the second mark. My voice leads, it does not shove. The pressure that says now quickly before you think, before you pray, that urgency is almost never mine. I created time and I am never late within it. When something is truly from me, it survives a pause. What cannot survive a pause was counting on your haste. And whatever counts on your haste fears your clarity. So build the pause into your life. Before the decision, before the answer, before the step, be still for one moment and ask me. Sometimes a single honest breath is enough for the fog to lift. The stumble we have dealt with today happened in the space where that pause should have been. Guard that space from now on, as you would guard a treasure, because that is what it is. Now hear me about your attention, for your attention is the gate of your whole life. Whatever you behold, you are slowly shaped by. Whatever you nourish grows, and whatever you starve weakens. There are voices and influences near you that seem harmless on the surface. Yet each one leaves a residue, and residue builds. Some of what you have allowed close to you lately has been pulling you off course by slow degrees. I am not asking you to fear the world. I am asking you to keep the gate. Ask of everything that wants your attention one simple question. Does this leave me nearer to my Father or further away? The answer will come quicker than you expect. What you have lacked was never discernment. It was decision. Some things will need to be stepped away from, and I will show you which ones do not mourn them. This is not loss, it is pruning. And pruning is done only to branches meant to bear more fruit, never to branches that are finished. When the vine dresser cuts, the vine does not shrink. It readies. Guard also the words you speak inside yourself when no one is listening. That inner voice has been harsher to you than any enemy, harsher than I have ever been. It calls you a failure where I call you my child. It rehearses your worst day on an endless loop, while I have already thrown that record away from today. When that voice speaks, answer it with what I say. Let your mind be renewed until your thoughts tell the truth. For that is what transformation actually is. Not effort piled upon effort, but a mind slowly retrained to agree with heaven. When your thoughts align with my truth, your choices follow without strain. The way a wheel follows the road, fix the spring, and the stream runs clean. And one word about discipline, because that word has been soured for you, and I want to restore its taste. Discipline is not restriction. Discipline is consistency, nothing more. It is choosing the same right thing on the gray ordinary days that you chose on the shining ones. No one drifts into steadiness. It is built one kept moment at a time, and I am building it in you now. You will not feel strong at first, and that is not failure. Strength of this kind grows as an oak grows without noise, without a single dramatic day, yet immovable once the years have done their work. If you receive this correction with an open heart, and you are willing to be trained by it, Whisper to me now, Father, teach me. I am yours now. I must speak of the years, because the years have been a quiet wound between us. You have questions you stopped asking out loud. You buried them under politeness in your prayers, but I heard them anyway. Why has it taken so long? Why them and not me? Why do the ones who never sought you seem to run ahead while I stand still? You have stood at celebrations for people who began long after you and arrived long before you. You clapped for them with an H behind your smile. You spoke blessing over them with a voice that did not shake. And then you went home and sat in the quiet and wondered what was wrong with you. I was present for every one of those evenings. Not one of them escaped me. And there were harder nights still. Nights you wondered whether you had misheard me all those years ago. Nights you turned the old promise over in your hands like a coin you could no longer spend. You never said it in those words. You did not have to. So, let me answer the buried questions. Now, plainly, as a father answers a grown child, the delay was never absence. There was not one day of those years when I was elsewhere, and the delay was never rejection. You measured my silence as distance, but it was nearer to the silence of a craftsman bent over his work, too intent to speak. Think of a field lying through a long winter. To every passing eye it is doing nothing. In truth, it is doing some of the most important work of its life. The ground rests and mends. What was spent is restored. And when sowing finally comes, that quiet field outbears every acre that was never given its season of stillness. Your hidden years were not empty years. They were your years, and the difference between those two words is as wide as a harvest. Think also of how a great house is built. For months there is nothing to admire. The work goes downward before it ever goes upward. Deep cuts into unseen ground. Stone set below where any guest will ever look. A passerby sees a hole and calls it failure. The builder sees a foundation and calls it wisdom. The higher the walls are meant to rise, the longer the unseen work must take. Measure your years of obscurity by that rule and read them again. And those doors that closed against you, the ones you knocked on until your hands ached, you grieved them as losses, and some you have grieved for years. But I stood on the other side of those doors, and I saw what waited behind them. Had certain ones opened, you would have entered seasons that would have cost you far more than the delay ever did. I did not fail to open them. I refused to. There is a love inside a refusal that can only be seen from further down the road. As for the ones who ran past you, release them. Their road is not your road, and their harvest is not your harvest. The vine does not envy the wheat for being gathered first. Each is brought in at its own appointed time, and the later gathering is not the lesser one. Often it is the opposite. What ripens longest keeps longest. Let that settle your heart about every name that has ever made it ache. Here is what those years actually built. Since you could not read the ledger, they built a compassion in you that ease could never have produced. If you can now see that the long wait was building something in you, like this message as your way of honoring that work, subscribe so you keep hearing this voice through every season of waiting still ahead. And type the wait built me in the comments so those years finally get named for what they were. You notice the overlooked now because you know that seat. They built an endurance that does not snap at the first contrary wind. They taught you to keep trusting me with empty hands. A lesson the early blessed rarely learn. These are not consolation prizes. These are the exact tools of the assignment ahead of you. And one more thing the long road proved, and I want you to hear it named. You stayed bent, questioning, tired, sometimes barely, but you stayed. Do you know how rare that is? Many have walked away from me over lighter disappointments than yours. You carried yours into my presence again and again and kept speaking to me from underneath it. Heaven does not overlook a faithfulness like that. It is written where nothing is ever lost. And now I tell you what this whole day has been leading toward. Theo's season is closing, not winding down slowly over years. Closing. The field has rested long enough. The foundation is cured and will bear the weight it was dug for. What I set in motion before you ever knew to ask, for it is arriving at its appointed hour, and no hand in heaven or on earth can hold it back now. This is why the correction could not wait. This is why I interrupted your day, and why my voice has carried such fire. A man may drift in the middle of a long, flat road and lose little. He must not drift at the bend. You are at the bend, my child. Everything I have taught you in this hour, the honesty, the pause, the guarded gait, the steady discipline, all of it was fitted for what stands just ahead of you. I know the years have taught your heart to flinch at hope. I know you have braced yourself before only to stand down again. So I am not asking you to summon a feeling. I am asking for something smaller and far greater. Take my word against the evidence of the years on the strength of my voice alone, the way a sailor trusts the star he cannot touch. Then hear what is coming, because I do not send my children toward a horizon without telling them what to look for. The blessing I have prepared arrives in 3 streams, and when they reach you, you will recognize my hand and not call it luck. The first stream is sudden favor. Doors will begin opening that you never knocked on. A conversation that seems ordinary will turn in a single sentence into the connection your path required. People who never noticed you will find you resting on their minds and not know why, but you will know why. I go ahead of my children. I speak their names in rooms they have not yet entered. What years of striving could not force open one appointed moment will, when it happens, do not stand doubting at the threshold. Recognize it. Thank me and walk through. The second stream is restoration, and it runs deeper than you expect. Things that were taken from you are coming back, and they do not return as they left. They return increased, the way seed returns as harvest. The seasons the devourer consumed, I am repaying. Even dreams you buried will stir. There is a vision you once carried that circumstances put into the ground years ago. You mourned it and moved on. But in my hands buried things have a way of becoming planted things. It is rising again, and it rises in a wiser form fitted to who you have become. Yet understand the boundary of this promise. I restore what I ordain, not everything you have lost. What was removed from your life as a protection will stay gone. The third stream will surprise you most, because you have lived without it so long you have forgotten its taste. Deep peace, the tight band across your chest that you now call normal. The knot beneath your ribs that never fully unwinds. The thoughts that circle your bed at night like birds that will not land. I say to all of it, this is not your inheritance. A morning will come when you wake, and the dread that usually greets you simply is not there, and the accusing voice that has trailed you for years, telling you that you are too late, too flawed, too far behind, its time is up. It will be crowded out by a truer voice, saying what I have always said over you. You are mine. You are called, and no one is behind who walks in step with me. And mark my word about timing. I will not have you waiting vaguely. Look for the first evidence before this present season turns. Not the whole harvest at once, but the first fruit, the early sign, the unmistakable touch of my hand, telling you the weather of your life has changed. When you see it, remember this hour and remember that I named it before it came. When the streams begin to flow, remember what wells are for. This blessing is not sent so you can build a higher wall around a fuller house. It is sent to pass through you. There are people near you, still deep in their own long winter. the ones you love, the ones you carry in prayer, whose names you have laid before me more often than your own. Your task is not to be their savior. It is to be their signpost, a living answer standing where they can see it. Some words are preached, the best ones are lived. The measure you use for others becomes the measure used for you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over one caution, and receive it as tenderly as I speak it. When favor comes quickly, the old pattern will whisper that you no longer need the pause, the stillness, the daily returning to me. Full hands drift more easily than empty ones. Keep the same nearness in harvest that you learned in famine, for the goal was never the streams. The goal was always the fountain. If ever you must choose between what fills your hands and what fills your soul, choose me, and you will find you have lost nothing worth keeping. And here is the final truth. The ground beneath every word of this day. You are chosen, not vaguely favored, not one face lost in a crowd. Chosen deliberately by name for work that fits no other life but yours. Being chosen is not a decoration. It is an assignment. Consider whom I have chosen before. A stammering fugitive to stand before a king. A shepherd boy overlooked in his own father's house. A fisherman whose courage failed him in a courtyard. I have never chosen the polished. I choose the willing, and I do the polishing myself, often through the very corrections they feared would disqualify them. That is what today was. The fire in my voice was not the fire of rejection. It was the fire a refiner keeps close to the silver he intends to use. The tests will come. I have never lied to you. The old thought will knock again, wearing new clothes. When those days arrive, do what you have learned. Stop, breathe, turn your heart toward me, and wait for the steadiness. If peace holds, walk on. If peace lifts, stand still. Though the whole world calls you foolish for standing, and if you stumble, do not vanish from me for weeks as you once did. Come at once. Come midfall if you can, for the door between us is never locked from my side. So rise now, my precious child. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and step back into your life as one who has been sent, not merely dismissed. Do not let this sacred moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. If you desire to deepen your connection, join Archangel Michael's inner circle immediately through the exclusive link in the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community. This is how you guarantee you never miss the direct personalized messages that are specifically meant to elevate and empower your life. But your presence, attention, and energy already mean the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits. I am before you to lead, behind you to guard, and within you to make you able. Not one day of what is coming will you walk alone. I have spoken, and my word does not return to me empty. If you are ready to rise and walk with me into everything I have prepared for you, declare your amen now and let it stand as your answer. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided e-books and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.